Then finally, on the 2025 CEO Performance Award to our founder and CEO, Elon Musk, with over 75% voting in favor, approved. I declare this meeting is now closed. Elon Musk.
Welcome. Those bots are just dancing. They have no wires. Those are actual robots. Thanks, guys. First of all, I'd like to just give a heartfelt thanks to everyone who supported the shareholder votes. I super appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to thank the Tesla board for their immense support. We have a fantastic board, fantastic group of shareholders. Thank you all. And what we're about to embark upon is not merely a new chapter of the future of Tesla, but a whole new book. And I'm going to talk about that. So this really is going to be quite the story. And Optimus is a fundamental part of that. The sheer scale of Optimus, I mean, I'm going to say a bunch of things that probably I shouldn't say, you know, but but that's what keeps it interesting. I mean, have you watched any other annual shareholder meeting? I mean, honestly, it's like, if you need to go to sleep, sure. Other shareholder meetings are like snooze fests. But ours are bangers. Look at this. This is sick. And yeah, so the scale of Optimus, like I said, that's really going to be something else. I think it's going to be the biggest product of all time by far. Yeah. So, like bigger than cell phones, bigger than anything. Yeah, so we're going to launch on the fastest production ramp of any product, of any large complex manufactured product ever. And starting with building a 1 million unit production line in Fremont. And that's line one. And then a 10 million unit per year production line here on the, I don't know where we're going to put the 100 million unit production line. Maybe on Mars. Like Optimus is kind of like an infinite money glitch. I guess what I'm saying is hang on to your Tesla stock. Obviously now with AI and robotics, we need to update our mission. And our mission, I think it's good. It's a great mission, which is to achieve sustainable abundance. Which is, it's like, because I often ask people like, what is the future that you want? What's the best future you can imagine? I guess probably the best future is if people can have whatever they want from a goods and services standpoint or medical standpoint, but at the same time we don't destroy nature, and we keep the rainforests and the beautiful national parks and all that stuff. And so that's what I mean by sustainable abundance. These days, when people come to our stores, or even people that have the car haven't turned it on, we find. And sometimes people have paid for FSD and they haven't turned it on. We're like, what? You should at least try it once. And so now we'll the sales team, the service team will actually sit with customers and say, look, let us show you how it works and how easy it is. And then once they've tried it for even just a few days, they can't live without it. And now with version 14, we're actually getting to the point where we almost feel comfortable allowing people to text and drive, which is kind of the killer app. Because that's really what people want to do, and do. Actually, right now the versions, the car's a little strict about keeping your eyes on the road. But I'm confident that in the next month or two, we're going to look closely at the safety statistics, but we will allow you to text and drive, essentially. Yeah. So yeah, that's probably the single biggest thing is just get people aware of FSD. And then obviously we need to get it approved in Europe, so we certainly appreciate the support of our customers in Europe pushing the regulators to approve FSD, because you can't even get even just normal supervised FSD is not allowed in Europe currently. So definitely a pressure from our customers in Europe to push the regulators to approve would be appreciated. And then we have partial approval in China, and we hopefully will have full approval in China around February or March or so. That's what they've told us. And then we've got the first car that is specifically built for unsupervised full self-driving to be a robotaxi. It's called a cybercab. It doesn't even have pedals or a steering wheel. Yeah. So there's no side view mirrors. There's no So it's very much optimized for the lowest cost per mile in an autonomous mode. And that production is happening right here in this factory, and we'll be starting production in April next year. So the way that Cybercab is designed is it's designed obviously for a purely autonomous world, but also the manufacturing system is unlike any other car. The manufacturing system of the Cybercab, it's closer to a high-volume consumer electronics device than it is a car manufacturing line. So the net result is that I think we should be able to achieve, I think, ultimately less than a 10-second cycle time, basically a unit every 10 seconds. Maybe ultimately take a few years to get there, but it's theoretically possible to get to a 5-second production time. It's theoretically possible to achieve a 5 million unit production line if you can get to the 5-second cycle time. So it's a lot of cars. When you look at what Optimus what's required to make Optimus and the various ingredients, what do you need to do high volume humanoid robot production? I think it's worth considering that really the cars we make are already robots, but they're four-wheeled robots. So Tesla is already the biggest robot manufacturer in the world because every car we make is a robot. And when you break it down to the fundamental elements, you've got batteries, power electronics, motors, gearboxes. You've got connectivity. You've got a vision-based AI. Hi, Optimus. And all the various pieces that you need for a humanoid robot. Tesla's ideally suited, I think, to succeed in this arena. You will see certainly many companies showing demonstration robots, the real-world AI, and then volume manufacturing. Those are generally the things that are missing. And then, as I've said before, I think once we reach about 1 million units per year of sustained production or in excess of that, I think probably the cost of production is around $20,000 in current year dollars. So this will be certainly very affordable. Yeah, like I said, I think Optimus will ultimately increase the size of the economy probably by a factor of 10 or more. Next year we start production with Optimus version 3. What you're seeing here is Optimus version 2.5. Optimus 3 is an incredibly good design. The Tesla engineering team is amazing. When you see Optimus 3, yeah. it will seem as though that there's someone like a person in a robot outfit, which is how we started with Optimus. It really is going to be something special. And then Optimus 4, that hopefully starts production in 27, and then Optimus 5 in 28. So it's kind of like an annual release cycle with significant improvements with each one and gigantic increases in the scale of production. So, yeah, sustainable abundance via AI and robotics. That's the future we're headed for. And as I think most people here know, the safety statistics show that miles driven on FSD are much safer than miles driven without it. So what this will translate to ultimately is saving the lives of millions of people and preventing hundreds of millions of accidents. So a massive increase in lives solved and tragedies avoided. And how many people here have tried 14.1? Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, you can see even with the point releases, it's getting quite a bit better. It should be pretty smooth at this point. But really 14.2 is, there are major changes with 14.2 and then 14.3. I think by 14.3 is when we'll really be at the point where you can just pretty much fall asleep and wake up at your destination. And then I've been putting a lot of time into the new Tesla chip design because in order to have a functional robot, you have to have a great AI chip. And it needs to be an inexpensive chip, and it needs to be very power efficient. So we believe the AI5 chip will be probably about a third of the power of, say, something like a Blackwell, an NVIDIA Blackwell, which is a great chip, for roughly comparable performance, and much less than 10% of the cost. So this chip will be made in basically in 4 places: TSMC Taiwan, Samsung Korea, TSMC Arizona, and TSMC Texas. And we already know what improvements to make for AI6. So I'm hopeful that we can, within less than a year of AI5 starting production, we can actually transition in the same fab to AI6 and double all of the performance metrics. But even when we extrapolate the best case scenario for chip production from our suppliers, it's still not enough. So I think we may have to do a Tesla terafab. And then starting next year, we manufacture the Tesla Semi. So this is already, we already have a lot of prototype Tesla Semis in operation. PepsiCo and other companies have been using the Tesla Semi for quite some time. But we will start volume production at our Northern Nevada factory in 2026. So we've got 2 big products, or three massive products starting production next year. We've got Optimus, we've got Tesla Semi, and we've got the Cybercab. And then battery packs. We keep improving the battery design, so the Mega Block, which makes it really easy to deploy battery, utility scale batteries. So we've just simplified and brought more of the components to be internal to the batteries, so you can just show up and drop off a battery and it works. Kind of like the way that a Powerwall, you just connect it to the house, the utility wires go on one side and the other side goes to the house mains, and that's it. So we want to get Megapack to the point where you just literally take the utility wires and you plug them in and it just works. And then we've got we've also built the world's largest supercharger network. Ultimately, you'll be able to go anywhere on Earth using a Tesla supercharger. And it's pretty close to anywhere on Earth, but it's, it's going to be ultimately just anywhere. It'll just work anywhere. So The supercharger team has done great work expanding that and improving the efficiency of the supercharger network. In North America, they did such a good job that the other car companies basically said, well, they'll just use the Tesla supercharger network. I'm like, okay, sounds good to us. It's always important to have a slide on safety in the factory, so we continue to improve safety for our factory workers. We care a lot about their well-being. Like one way you can just tell like if a company is a good company or not, if you just walk through the factory or walk through the office and catch the vibe. And the vibe in the Tesla factory is good. People are happy. That's how you know it's a good company. We've also put a lot of investment into raw materials. So we've built in South Texas and Corpus Christi the biggest lithium refinery outside of China, I believe. So it's starting off with 50 gigawatt hours of lithium, and we'll expand from there. We're just making sure that we, from a supply chain standpoint, are resilient against any potential geopolitical challenges. That's the Tesla Semi factory. So it's going to be pretty cool to see these going down the road in scale. Yeah, so that's the basic plan. Sustainable abundance for all. All right, so yeah, I guess we can go into Q&A now. Maybe at the next annual shareholder meeting, we'll have Optimus take some of the questions. That'd be cool.
Will you or Tesla ever consider FSD tied to an owner's account rather than a vehicle to encourage more frequent upgrades, provided the transfer is to only a brand new Tesla vehicle while fostering brand loyalty? If the vehicle is sold or traded without upgrade to another Tesla, FSD ownership would end.
Well, we have done that a few times. I guess we could extend it again. All right, we'll extend it for at least another quarter, and then play it by ear after that. All right.
Hi, Satoshi. I was privileged enough to attend the Investor Day, and you also talked about the factory being a product. And I saw the dry cathode method and so forth, and I wanted to know the progress in that, and also would Optimus be working on that in the future?
Yeah, I guess the dry cathode, man, that's turned out to be a lot harder than we thought. It does look like it's going to be successful, and it will have some cost advantage relative to wet cathode. But if I had to wind the clock back, I would probably have gone with wet cathode instead of dry cathode, because we're going to be ramping up production very dramatically at Tesla. So now that we believe we have full self-driving, that we have autonomy solved, or at least are within a few months of having unsupervised autonomy solved at a reliability level significantly better than human, that means it's time to ramp up production. Because the value proposition is now much greater than a regular car. The killer app really is for people, can you text and drive, or can you sleep and drive? Can the car take you to your destination, or do you need to pay attention and have to drive it? And before we allow the car to be driven without paying attention, we need to make sure it's very safe. But like I said, we're on the cusp of that. I know I've said that a few times, but we really are at this point, and you can feel it for yourselves with the 14.1 release. What we're going to push to expand vehicle production as fast as we possibly can. So aspirationally, we'd aim to increase vehicle production by about 50% by the end of next year. Yeah. So it's very hard to increase production, but that's roughly, I don't know, maybe we get to I'm just guessing, at an exit rate by the end of next year of around 2.6, 2.7 million vehicles. annualized production, and then aim to get to maybe 4 million by the annualized rate by the end of 27, and then maybe 5 million by the end of 28. Those are our aspirational goals. Like I said, this really is it's not just a new chapter for Tesla, it's a new book. And that new book is massively increasing vehicle production and ramping up Optimus production faster than anything's ever been ramped up before in history.
My question this year, you've talked recently about the most mind-blowing product demo of all time, and a shot at being the most memorable product unveiled ever.
Roadster. Yeah.
And I have patiently been waiting on my Founders Series Roadster reservation. So on behalf of the Founders Series guys that have stuck in there, can we be invited to this unveil?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely, definitely. The new Roadster is very much sort of like it's not even the icing on the cake, it's the cherry on the icing on the cake. So, I mean, it's really kind of like, it's like it's not essential for sustainable abundance, let me put it that way. But I do think there should be, very cool technology in the world that is, that's way beyond anything that's ever existed. So I think it will be inspiring to a lot of people. And just, it's extreme, it's like the coolest car, if it even is a car, that will probably ever exist.
Are you guys confident that every Cybercab you guys make, you'll be able to deploy?
I'd like to thank Waymo for paving the path here. It's very helpful. But I think we'll be able to deploy all the Cybercabs that we produce. And the other thing is, like, once it becomes like extremely normal in cities, it's just going to become like the regulators will have just fewer and fewer reasons to say no. And then you've got this, you've got the accident statistics at scale, and you can show that autonomous miles save lives. And you've got unequivocal, billions of miles to prove it.
Do you see a path for Optimus to have consciousness downloaded to it?
You mean human consciousness, or?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like immediate, but if you said down the road, would you be able to, say, with a neural link, have a snapshot of, or at least an approximate snapshot of somebody's mind, and then upload that approximate snapshot to an Optimus body? I think that at some point that technology becomes possible.
So my question to you is, how do you feel about repeating the success, but in a safer way, where you get qualified Tesla retail investor only to invest in SpaceX, avoiding all these market manipulators, those crooks, and these short sellers?
Yeah. It is a tough problem that you highlight. I mean, unfortunately, over time, the parasitic load of being a public company has just grown over time. And so you get all these, like, spurious lawsuits, obviously, and they just make it very difficult to operate effectively as a public company. But I do want to try to figure out some way for Tesla shareholders to participate in SpaceX. That would be very cool. I've been giving a lot of thought to how to give people access to SpaceX stock, because I do want supporters to have SpaceX stock, but there's this sort of 2,500 shareholder threshold for, before you become a de facto public company. But I don't know, maybe at some point maybe at some point SpaceX should become a public company, despite all the downsides of being public.
You mentioned that the Roadster will have more tech than all the James Bond vehicles combined. Do you think there's any possibility that any of that tech will make it into the current vehicle lineup?
No.
And to follow up on that, do you have any estimate of production or delivery timelines for the Roadster?
I guess, so we're aiming for the product unveiled will be of the Roadster 2, which will be very different from what was shown previously. That demo event will be April 1st of next year. I have some deniability because, I could say I was just kidding. But we are actually tentatively aiming for April 1st for this, what I think will be the most exciting, whether it works or not, demo ever of any product. And then I guess production is probably about 12 to 18 months after that. I think production is probably a year or so after that. Oh, well, I can't give away the secrets, but you won't be disappointed.
Do you think achieving this abundance would require powerful people to relinquish their power? And how might we address resistance from those who hold power to make this vision a reality?
Well, I think actually long-term, the AI is going to be in charge, to be totally frank, not humans. If artificial intelligence vastly exceeds the sum of human intelligence, it is difficult to imagine that any humans will actually be in charge. So we just need to make sure the AI is friendly. Yep.
Thank you.
My question has to do with compute and what the build out or how much is necessary to train Optimus and actually get them to a very household, meaningful robot that can do things, and if the partnership with XAI would help accelerate that.
Yeah, there's a lot of training compute needed for Optimus, and because the AI chip in the robot is relatively weak because it's really limited on power, you can make up for that with a lot of training. To have a lot of training result in a very efficient AI that can run on a low-power chip in the robot. So it is. We will actually have to spend a lot of money on training. Ultimately it'll be like tens of billions of dollars on training compute. So it's a big number.
Would a partnership with XAI help accelerate that?
Yeah, I think potentially. Yeah, I think that could. Yeah, I think there's potential for accelerating that. So, yeah, did the XAI investment thing get approved? Yes. No. Yes. Okay. Okay. Whatever. I do think there's a lot of potential for collaboration with XAI in the future, and with SpaceX.
We don't play that. We don't play that. We don't play that. G-Unit. We don't play around.